Thank you for joining NMH at 1, where we highlight the news making headlines in the land of the brave and beyond, ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. In the news today, pressure mounts on government to decide Meatco's fate. 70% of Namibian workers suffer chronic health conditions, and woman stabbed to death by alleged ex-lover. I am Ashwin Berry, and this is NMH at 1. Disgruntled elderly members of the Okahanja community have taken to the streets to demonstrate against the town's current CEO, Alphonse Shitombo. This was after Red Force shut down water supplies at the homes of individuals who have unsettled municipal debt. Have a look. Do engage with these stories on our social media throughout the broadcast. Visual news coming up after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
On the occasion of the Employee Wellness Indaba conference organized by Eureka Psychological Services, Deputy Minister of Health and Social Services Esther Muinjanwe reminded organizations that as much as we want to make a profit, it is equally important to educate and incentivize employees to live healthier. By doing so, you can benefit your business in a multitude of ways. Healthier employees have fewer sick days and are more productive than their less healthy counterparts.
But while most leaders think of themselves as caring leaders, not all of them demonstrate that care in consistent ways. Your employees will judge you by your actions, not by your intentions. Leaders have the power to change the lives of those they lead. They should not just want to care. They should also see caring as imperative for the success of their employees as well as of the organizations. Leaders are results-oriented. Hence, they have a very huge responsibility to foster a climate of accountability, responsibility, creativity, and change. Director of Proceedings, ladies and gentlemen, research indicates that organizations that choose to make well-being at workplace a priority outperform their competitors. Organizations that support their staff to feel psychologically and socially safe have more capacity, creativity, and perform at a much
United States Ambassador to Namibia Randy Berry said he is satisfied with the health programs that his country has in conjunction with Namibia. Berry, who was on a two-day visit to the north, said he wants to strengthen the partnership between the two governments and execute programs to help people at grassroots levels.
So I've been very, very fortunate to have the opportunity to visit the North for the first time as U.S. Ambassador here with my senior leadership team that administer all of our health and development programs. It's been very, very important because I've had the opportunity over the last couple of days and a couple of more to come to just take a look at the beneficiaries and see how these programs are being received and supported at the grassroots level. So I've had the opportunity to meet some really amazing young women today who have benefited from the DREAMS program. And the really encouraging thing that I see is these are young women who now have the tools to basically be in charge of their own lives, so they can produce their own income. They are at less risk now from negative health outcomes, and they've really taken that seed of knowledge and an opportunity that the program has provided and done so much more with it. So I'm enormously happy to see just how successful these engagements have been. And I'm looking forward to having the more opportunity to, over the next couple of days, to see health delivery at the point of service, so out in some of the most remote locations, so that we can get better in our partnerships with the government, in our execution of the programs that really are designed to help people at the grassroots level. Just, I don't know the answer to that, but like with ART therapy, obviously you need to be having a healthy diet and having food to take with your medicines. Is it the same with PrEP?
Yeah, yes, but these are like negative people. The assumption is that they are healthy.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah, but a good diet is always recommended.
I guess what I'm asking also is are the girls that you're seeing who are at risk also at risk for food insecurity? Like, do they get enough? Do they have enough access to food or be able to afford?
There's just like that. Some they are no, some they are. The majority they used to say no. Because the person who joins that PrEP is obviously that person is in the same space again, that's a risk of not having enough.
In our next clip, Kavango West Councillor Joseph Shikongo expressed concern over the lack of knowledgeable employees as well as the lack of resources such as transportation for employees of the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Forestry. Shikongo made these remarks at the opening of the National Conference on Human-Wildlife Conflict Management in Windhoek.
We are advocating is that we do not want people to work in the ministry if they really don't know how things happen. They must, or what to do. And also what I also want to tell is that at the region community minister community PD, our staff members there do not have transports. Okahenge office, they only have one Land Cruiser. And if these Land Cruisers are at the garage, then even if you call them, they won't travel. They ask Rundu, Rundu will say, we also have few transport. I think transport is the most thing that the ministry need to procure. For us really, if our staff member are to be seen running. Otherwise, this is just to say, we came so that we can add value to these discussions and we change these policies. As Fidel Castro have a statement to say, the most important thing is to solve the people's problem, not only wildlife. Bible says this wildlife were created. It's the human being who have to control them, but not wildlife to control us. Because they are not the one who created us. But we were created in the image of God, but not wildlife. Thank you.
Now, the state lawyer who is suspended from practicing pending a disciplinary process stuck to a promise of suing Dawsab if the minister's decision is not reversed. An update on this story follows in the newspaper review segment.
to another exciting episode of Irongo Toby Yole.
Is die weer en vertel ook vir julle waar die vis heel moontlik kan byt.
The Namibian Sun's front page reports that the legal aid officer in the Justice Ministry, Eva Maria Nangolo, has stayed true to a promise of dragging Justice Minister Yvonne Dalsab and the Legal Aid Directorate to court following a decision to revoke her appointment as a lawyer. In April, Dalsab revoked Nangolo's legal aid certificate following the latter's Twitter remarks about the Damara people and their culture. A disciplinary process has also been instituted against her. Nangolo landed into hot water when she tweeted on 2 April, "For once, the Damara people are doing something beautiful, cultural identity. I love this. This overshadows that violent image of breaking bottles, knife stabbing, insults, no culture identity that I only know of them." The controversial tweet remains on her timeline. On page 3, nearly 24 hours later, the police in the Oshana region are seeking public assistance to arrest a man who allegedly murdered Rebecca Ndilokelwa Mwendombe in a Henye residential area in Oshakati. The incident took place at around 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Now, she was found in a pool of blood with 5 stab wounds. Onlookers at the scene told Namibian Sun the victim was reportedly stabbed by her ex-boyfriend. Police could, however, not confirm this, saying investigations are still at an early stage. Republican informs that we all know that no effort has been made to consciously and deliberately create jobs for Namibian contractors and their Namibian workers. Anyone who says that 25% of the work will be outsourced to local contractors and sells it as a success is taking us for fools. Not just the contractors, but everyone who has a real interest in Namibia's progress. The CEO of the Construction Industries Federation of Namibia, Barbel Kirshner, said this in reaction to the fact that only Chinese contractors made a roads authority shortlist for a road project between Yusakos and Karibib. Now, the Roads Authority says it did not receive a significant amount of bids from Namibian companies for the upgrade of the Yusakos-Karibib Road, in which 7 Chinese construction firms have been shortlisted. Instead, it said only 3 Namibian companies showed interest in the bidding process, which is being financed by Germany's main development bank, KfW. Now, RA CEO Conrad Lutombi said since KfW is funding the upgrade of the road, it was the bank that set the requirements for companies participating in the project. Now, Han Congress paves the way for education in tourism. Han Education to address misconceptions about tourism professions, perceived shortcomings in theoretical skills acquisition and practical implementation, and barriers created by persistent ignorance about the scope and complexity of the travel and tourism sector. On page 3 of the Allgemeine Zeitung, SASCAL plans to monitor the online platform, developing an integrated online platform for wetland assessment and monitoring of the aspiration of the Office of Climate Change and Adaptive Land Management and its partners. Therefore, SASCAL is currently hosting meetings to discuss the necessary steps. After the break, we continue with the Namibian newspaper.
Discover the breathtaking beauty of Namibia with Tourismus, a captivating program that uncovers the country's diverse landscapes, wildlife, and cultural experiences. Featuring insightful interviews with tourism experts, each episode takes you on a mesmerizing journey, exploring Namibia's majestic sand dunes, vibrant wildlife, and unique attractions. Watch Tourismus on NTV, Saturdays at 20:30 in German, and Sundays at 6 p.m. in English, for a heartwarming and unforgettable adventure.
Continuing with our newspaper review, the Namibian newspaper reports that Member of Parliament Nico Smith has called for transparency by the Central Procurement Board of Namibia. This comes after the board failed to disclose the exact amounts allocated to companies which won $1.4 billion Namibian worth of health tenders 2 weeks ago. The pharmaceutical supply tenders, including vaccines and other medicines, were advertised in November last year and awarded on 24 April this year. On page 3, retired Namibian Police Inspector General Sebastian Ndetunga formally declared his interest in entering politics. He says he is interested in any position SWAPO would assign him. If I am to be involved in any politics, everyone will know, and I will be ready to take up the task that may be given to me in the structure of the party. The SWAPO party is the only party I have been a member of since 1975, he said. Ndetunga has in the past on occasion been seen attending SWAPO events and donning party regalia. On New Era's front page, the future of state-owned Meatco has seen heated debates for months. With the entity in financial distress, many have suggested options ranging from reviving, privatizing or liquidating it. However, all eyes are now on the government as stakeholders anxiously await its decision. The pressure is mounting on the authorities to make a announcement on the fate of Meatco, which has been struggling to stay afloat amidst tough economic conditions, mounting debt and more competition. On page 3, affirmative repositioning movement leader and presidential hopeful Joba Mupanda has dismissed assertions that his campaign is being funded by tender mogul Shapwa Kanyama, whose businesses have enjoyed state contracts. He, however, confirmed being friends with Kanyama. The activist made these revelations during a recent interview that, among other things, zeroed into his presidential bid, the state of AR, and his views on oil and gas. When Mupanda announced through several billboards his intention to run for the highest office in the land, many questioned how he was able to put up numerous billboards bearing his face in several towns, including Windhoek, Walvis Bay and Ondangwa, when the real campaign has not even started yet. MarketWatch reports that since March 2023, Bank Windhoek has disbursed 50 million Namibian dollars to support the Namibian government's Small Medium Enterprise Economic Recovery Loan Scheme launched in February. This was revealed by Bank Windhoek's Executive Officer of Business Banking, Leon Koch, who encouraged eligible SMEs to approach the bank for assistance. As a connector of positive change, we support the development of SMEs because they play a crucial role in the Namibian economy through value creation in various sectors and also assisting in reducing unemployment, he said. This SME Economic Recovery Loan Scheme is an initiative the Namibian government introduced in partnership with several local banking institutions, including Bank Windhoek and the Bank of Namibia. Now, Zimbabwe has introduced digital currency backed by gold. More on this story in economic news shortly.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
On Monday, Zimbabwe released a gold-backed digital currency for peer-to-peer and peer-to-business transactions, as well as to act as a store of value as the country's currency continues to lose ground against major currencies. Holders of physical gold coins at their discretion will be able to exchange or convert through the banking system into gold-backed digital tokens, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe said in a statement, inviting individual and corporate entities to use the digital currency that can be bought either in Zimbabwean dollars or foreign currency. The Southern African country now joins other African states like Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa that have introduced digital currencies, even as several others have plans in the works. But the digital currency, the first ever by the country's central bank, hits the market Monday to lukewarm reception from economists and ordinary Zimbabweans. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. $1 will cost 18 Namibian dollars and 90 cents, while 1 British pound translates to 23 Namibian dollars and 79 cents. Most of the stock prices on the Namibia Stock Exchange remain unchanged except for Capricorn Investment Group Limited, MTC, and Namibia Breweries Limited. Overall index is up by 0.29%, while the local index went up by 0.03%. Gold is valued at $2,037 while Brent crude oil is valued at $77.10 per barrel. Authorities recently opened an investigation into a shooting attack at a synagogue. Stay with NMH at 1 for an update.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
On Wednesday, Tunisian authorities opened an investigation into a shooting attack at a synagogue that killed 2 Jewish pilgrims and 3 members of the country's security forces. The motive of the gunman, whose guards killed before he could enter the building on the island Jebar, remained unclear. The island's historic Griba synagogue, thought to be one of the world's oldest Jewish temples, is a popular pilgrimage destination, but it was unknown if the assailant, a member of the Tunisian National Guard, specifically targeted Jews in Tuesday's attack. The death toll from the attack rose to 5 on Wednesday when a guard who was hospitalized in the immediate aftermath died of his wounds, according to a medical official cited by Tunisia's TAP news agency. 4 other members of Tunisia's security forces remain hospitalized in Jebar, including 1 in critical condition. Israeli and Tunisian authorities and family members identified the civilian victims as cousins Aviel Haddad, 30, who held dual Tunisian and Israeli citizenship, and Benjamin Haddad, 42, who was French. 4 civilians were also wounded, the Tunisian Interior Ministry said. The assailant, a guardsman affiliated with the Naval Center in the island's port town of Agea, first killed a colleague with his service weapon before seizing ammunition and heading towards the Griba synagogue, the Tunisian Interior Ministry said. When he reached the site, he opened fire on security units stationed at the temple. The guards fired back, killing him before he reached the entrance, the ministry said. The leader of Welsh nationalists, Plaid Cymru, has stepped down. We'll be looking at international news shortly.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
The leader of Welsh nationalists, Plaid Cymru, has stepped down, saying he no longer had enough support from colleagues after a report found a culture of sexual harassment, bullying and discrimination in the party. In his resignation letter, Adam Price said he felt morally bound to step down as leader of the party after initially receiving the report last month, but was advised by some colleagues that this could be an unhelpful distraction. Price, who had been the leader since 2018, said it was now clear I no longer have the united support of my colleagues that would be necessary to follow this course to fruition. The review by a former member of the National Assembly for Wales said Plaid Cymru failed to implement a zero-tolerance approach to sexual harassment, and staff and elected members reported cases of sexual harassment, bullying and discrimination. Price said the report's findings contrasted with the independent Wales We Together champion. Plaid Cymru is the 3rd largest party in the devolved Welsh Parliament, the Senedd, which has law-making powers in Wales. The announcement from the leader of Wales Pro-Independence Party follows the resignation of Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon in February, who was the head of Scotland's pro-independent Scottish National Party. Plaid Cymru's National Executive Committee said its Senedd group would invite nominations for an interim leader on Thursday, which will be subject to ratification by the party's National Council on Saturday. A timetable will be published outlining the process of electing a permanent leader at the earliest possible opportunity, the party said. We'll be starting off with Val Vichas as we head into local sports after the break.
Welcome to Active Kids, a daily TV show that sparks creativity, learning, and fun for young minds. With exciting activities and lessons, Active Kids inspires curiosity and a love for learning.
New face to the 15.
The perfect mix of play and education. Don't miss out on the fun. Tune into Active Kids on NTV every weekday at 10 o'clock and let the adventure begin.
And has likely ruled out Windhoek Drachtvelvich's vice-captain and fly-half Andre van der Berg for at least the remainder of the Mzansi Challenge campaign. After about 50 minutes of last Saturday's match against Leopards at Walvish Bay, van der Berg left the field with a hyperextended knee. The founder of Kinder Promotions, Kinder Nangolo, has vowed to remain relevant despite their sponsorship challenges. Kinder Promotions does still exist and has been doing so even without any fixed sponsors. We have been hosting events here and there, but the coverage from the media has not done our events justice. The second round of the Nedbank for Good series will take place on Saturday, 13 May at the Hobabis Golf Club. The successor of the coveted Nedbank for Autism series will have 10 events in 2023 across the country, which are aimed at creating awareness and assisting multiple social institutions, initiatives and projects. We'll be looking at the Champions League as we head into international sport.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Heading into international sport, Inter Milan has one foot in the Champions League final after an impressive 2-0 win over AC Milan in Wednesday's pulsating last four derby. DHL Stormers coach John Dobson has described Dion Foury's chances of playing in Saturday's Vodacom United Rugby Championship semi-final against Connacht as 50%, but his injury problems and potential disruption do not end there. And South Africa has sealed the final automatic qualification spot for the World Cup after Ireland's hopes of prepping them were dashed on Tuesday, when their first one-day international against Bangladesh was washed out. You are still with NMH at 1. Let's head into the highlights from this afternoon's broadcast. Senegal's opposition coalition said on Tuesday it would stage rallies over a threat to bar one of its leaders, Ousmane Sonko, from his presidential elections after he was convicted in a defamation case. Countries should agree to phase out fuel emissions, not the production of oil, gas, and coal and climate talks this year, the United Arab Emirates says. And Michael Hamukwaya, the Secretary General of the Namibia Paralympic Committee, is hoping that para-athletes will be given more opportunities to compete in main events of future FNB Botswana Grand Prix events. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa and the world, ranging from current affairs to economic news, sports and international headlines. It's goodbye from us in studio.